You finally have a free afternoon. No deadlines. No obligations. Nothing pulling at you. And instead of relief, something strange happens. A quiet discomfort creeps in. A voice that says you should be doing something. Within 20 minutes, you are checking your phone, making a list, finding a task, anything to make the discomfort stop. This is not a productivity problem. This is not laziness, and it is certainly not proof that you do not know how to relax. What you are experiencing is one of the strangest mismatches between your ancient biology and your modern life, and almost nobody names it correctly. Here is what nobody tells you about rest. For most of human history, rest was never free. It was earned, and it was conditional, and your brain still treats it that way. Consider the environment your nervous system was actually built for. In the ancestral world, energy was scarce and unpredictable. Calories were hard-won. A body that rested too much, too soon, without having secured enough food, risked starvation during the next lean period. Evolution did not favor organisms that simply stopped once a task felt sufficiently done. It favored organisms that kept scanning, kept gathering, kept preparing, because the cost of underpreparing was death, and the cost of overworking was, at worst, exhaustion. Your brain was shaped by an asymmetry where vigilance was always slightly safer than rest. The psychologist Roy Baumeister's research on self-regulation found something revealing about how humans relate to unstructured time. He documented what researchers now call the discomfort of unstructured downtime, the surprisingly common finding that many people, given genuinely free time with no assigned task, will manufacture stress or busy work rather than sit with stillness. In some experiments, participants placed alone in a room with literally nothing to do chose to give themselves mild electric shocks rather than simply sit quietly with their own thoughts. Idle time itself, for many human minds, registers as something close to threatening. Why would simply existing without producing anything feel dangerous? Because for nearly your entire evolutionary history, idle time in a survival context was rare and often meant something had already gone wrong. If you were truly safe enough to do nothing, it likely meant you had already secured shelter, food, and protection from your group. Stillness was not the default state. Stillness was the reward state, available only after labor. Your brain still runs that old accounting system. When you rest without having visibly earned it through labor, part of your nervous system quietly flags the situation as suspicious. There is a second layer to this, rooted not in survival but in social standing. The anthropologist and economist Thorstein Veblen, writing more than a century ago, observed that in many human societies, visible busyness became a status signal, while visible leisure, paradoxically, became suspicious unless it could be displayed as a deliberate luxury. Humans evolved in groups where contribution to the collective was carefully tracked, because freeloaders threatened the survival of everyone else. A person who appeared idle while others worked was not just judged. They were a genuine risk to group cohesion. Your brain inherited a deep, automatic discomfort with appearing unproductive in front of others, and that discomfort doesn't simply disappear when no one else is in the room. You internalize the watcher. Now you supervise yourself. This explains a peculiar modern phenomenon. Many people feel measurably more guilty resting alone in private, with absolutely no audience, than they do working inefficiently in front of colleagues. The social pressure that once came from an actual tribe now runs entirely on autopilot, inside your own head, with no one there to please but the ancient mechanism itself. Now combine this with something neuroscience has only recently mapped clearly, the brain's default mode network, the system that activates specifically when you are not focused on an external task. Research led by neuroscientist Marcus Raichle found that this network is not, in fact, idle. It is intensely active, responsible for memory consolidation, self-reflection, moral reasoning, and creative insight. The very state your ancient instincts label as dangerous idleness is, neurologically, one of the most productive things your brain ever does. Rest is not the opposite of productivity. It is a different, less visible form of it, one your ancestors had no framework for recognizing as valuable, because in their world there was almost no time to study it. This is the cruel irony sitting at the center of modern rest. Your body and mind genuinely require unstructured time to consolidate memory, regulate emotion, and generate the insight that focused effort alone cannot produce. And yet the same evolutionary wiring that built your survival instincts also built a persistent, nagging discomfort the moment you actually take that time. You are simultaneously starving for rest and biologically suspicious of it. Once you understand this, the guilt itself becomes something you can examine rather than obey. The discomfort you feel staring at an empty afternoon is not a signal that you are wasting time. It is an ancient alarm, calibrated for scarcity, firing in a world of abundance it was never built to recognize. The alarm is not lying about its origins. It is simply outdated about its target. You do not have to earn rest through exhaustion to deserve it. Your ancestors never had the luxury of separating the two, but you do. And learning to sit with that quiet discomfort without immediately reaching for a task to make it disappear may be one of the most genuinely modern skills a human being can practice. The silence is not empty. It only feels that way to a mind still listening for danger.